Hi, what is up, fellas? Welcome back to the channel. What are we doing today? I mentioned in the previous episode on the brakes for the 4Runner that I planned on also doing suspension. That was the next thing I wanted to go ahead and cover on the car or truck or SUV, whatever you want to call it. But that's what we're addressing today. There's plenty of videos out there on suspension upgrades for this thing. I just want to cover my experience with it and some of the changes that are going to happen for it. I do have wheels and tires for it, which I'll show you guys at the end of this video. And those are at the shop now. I dropped them off earlier in the week with the tires. Well, I dropped the wheels off and then the tires off earlier this week. So by the time I get there for an alignment for this thing, because it will need an alignment after I lift it, I think, well, 1.75 inches or whatever it says on the instructions here. So after I lift it, as it sits back there, after I lift it, it will need an alignment, and that's gonna be something that I need to go ahead and do. So wheels and tires are at the alignment shop, and all that's left for me to do is to install the suspension. Now this does have the XREAS system, so I'm gonna get rid of all of that. Not because it's bad, but because at this point, the car has 115,000 miles, and I'm going through replacing as much as possible, and I want the car to look the way I want it to look as well. So there's something about a 4Runner to me where it just comes with this like natural like rake from the factory, which I just can't stand. I can't stand that rake. So that's something that I really want to fix, and that's something that this suspension is going to give me the opportunity to do. I could have gone with some Daystar spacers, which honestly I have some and I chose not to use. This is a 1-inch spacer, so anybody out there looking for a 1-inch spacer, Daystar kit, brand new, let me know. I'll cut you a deal on it because I'm never gonna use them more than likely. So we'll get that in. I'll show you guys what the final product is. Today's Saturday, so Monday I'll be at the alignment shop. They're gonna go ahead and mount and balance my tires. They're gonna go ahead and mount the wheels on the car. Tires better be mounted and balanced already because I dropped them off a week ago. And so from there, that'll be it. That'll be the end of the mods for this V8 4Runner.
Pardon me, but that's bullshit.
And then they could just stay as a daily driver, getting horrible gas mileage and so on and so forth. But what I will do is any issues or things that I encounter on the way of owning this thing forward, any modifications I make, I will document them and post them up and stuff like that. And if I can make videos, I will. Here's what I chose. These are just Bilstein 5100s. I did a lot of research as far as what I can use for this specific truck. And overwhelmingly, the Bilstein 5100s were the way to go from what I can tell. I do like that these have the circlip adjustment. So to adjust the height choices is really more so anything just moving this clip. The first one is stock ride height on a stock spring, then 0.85, then 1.75, then 2.5 at the top. I'm going with 1.75 to just delete that rake that the car has. I'm not gonna go ahead and go through everything that it takes to remove this XREAS system, but because there's plenty of videos on that. But let's just see how far I can get on this before the fun part, right? Which is the alignment and the tires and the wheels. That's what you guys really want to see. So I'm sure you just fast forward all my jibber jabber.
Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all.
And, and go on to the end of this video. But okay, so let's get working. Let me go ahead and put the rear in there. I'm gonna start from the rear to the front, just because I'm on a slanted driveway here. So it'll make it easier for me to just start in the rear and then work my way forward and start deleting lines and stuff like that. So here we go. All right, fellas, so the install went pretty smooth. I'm gonna say that the hardest part of the whole install was there's a bracket in the rear where the X-Rias, let's just call it that, system connects to. It's behind, it's right in front of the rear wheel, but it is in an awkward position where it's really hard to get to. So it's actually back behind here somewhere. And if I can get you guys in there, yeah, it's actually back behind here somewhere. So it was really hard just to get to. It was in a very awkward position. One of the things that I wanted to mention as well, I wasn't planning on doing the Bilstein upgrade, the 5100s. What I was going to do was run a Daystar spacer. I made a show in it earlier. Being that the suspension is 115,000 miles old, when I did take it out, I did see that or actually, I noticed this last time when I did the brakes, that some of the lines, some of the hydraulic lines going to the strut itself were weeping a little bit. So you could see that that hydraulic line that connects at the banjo to the suspension, you can tell it was moist. Brother, that's a trigger word for a lot of people. So it was moist, and you could see it weeping at the connection points. So that right there kind of really prompted me to go ahead and just do the whole swap and not do the spacer. So for you guys that are on a XREAS system and want to just level it out, the third setting on that Bilstein kit, if you're planning to do this kit, is money. I think personally that evens it out as much as possible. If I would have done the 2.5, then that would have put me at 36.5 in the front, and that may have thrown it off front to back. But I'm not a mathematician on this stuff. This is just what I did. What may work for me may not work for you. So let's go ahead and head over to Eurospec tomorrow, and I'll show you guys what wheels and tires I chose for the car. All right, fellas, so here it is, all nice and completed. It's done. Doug at Eurospec went ahead and knocked the alignment out of the park. Everything is within spec, as the name would suggest. And I've been driving the car for about a week and a half now. Everything's been good. I love the way these Falcon Wild Peak AT4s ride. They're not loud. I was really hoping not to have a loud, harsh ride on these, and they're not loud at all. The wheels themselves, they've grown on me quite a bit. And again, these are the newer 4Runner TRD Pro wheels. I think these are from a 2022 to a 2024 TRD 4Runner TRD Pro. They fit well. I mean, I didn't want any wheels that really stick out past the fender themselves. And these are pretty flush to the wheel. So I'm definitely more on the side of wheels not sticking up past the fenders. Some of you guys may like wheels that stick out further, but if I would have gone with something like a 17 by 9 or 8.5, I think it would have been too much. And these give it that OEM plus feeling, and I'm really all about that. You guys can see there, it's quite flush. It's not really sticking out past the fender at all. And the nice thing is these 4Runners have like, well, all 4Runners have like these arches that look like they're sticking out quite far from the body. No issues as far as brake clearance either. With the fifth gen calipers, As you guys know, obviously these are 5th gen wheels, so there should be no issues as far as fitment goes, but it fits great. Everything looks great. The Bilstein 5100s have been good. I'm going to say they're a little on the firm side. Not firmer than the XREAS system that was in there before though. That was a lot firmer, but they feel compliant. The car does feel a lot more settled on the road. It doesn't like throw you around as much as before. I think I had mentioned that. It just doesn't toss you around in curves and little bumps as much as before. I know there are other options out there as far as suspension goes, such as the IBOC level 1 for this 4Runner, and definitely plenty of coilovers. But as far as entry level, I think the IBOC stage 1 or level 1, whatever they call it, and these 5100s are going to be under $1,000. So these being the more budget friendly option for something that's really just the OEM plus daily driver more than anything. So it's been, one thing I will say for you guys using the Laminix stuff, has it ever gotten any better? Like, this thing is just so bad. It never got any better. So I'll contact Laminix about that one. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like the way it came out? If you do, leave a comment down in the comment section. Again, this is just a refreshing, I guess, of this vehicle here. I didn't have too many other plans other than just leveling the front, wheels, brakes, tires. Another thing to mention here is in the suspension itself, I did notice that the front, well, right now it's on uneven ground, but the front from the ground to the top on the fronts is now somewhere around 35 inches, a little under. So 3 corners of the car are actually perfectly even. So the 2 fronts are even, and that rear corner, the passenger rear corner, is even at about 35 inches. But this corner here stays at 36 inches from the ground. I don't know why. Again, I still have my stock airbags in the back. So once these fail, I will do the spring conversion in the rear. If you guys have that same issue, leave it in the comments section. I'd like to know who else has that issue where one corner of the airbag is higher than the other. Does that mean that airbag on the passenger side is failing? Or does that mean that there's something going on with this one that's overfilling? I don't know. But just leave it in the comment section if you guys have the same issue. Other than that, I think it looks good. I was going for that OEM Plus look, and I think the TRD Pro wheels are that. This just elevates the car a little bit more. I didn't want to go with anything too wide, as I mentioned before. I don't like that whole wheel sticking past out the fender kind of look. To each their own though. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. We really do appreciate it here on the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.